Next up, the Ricks continue their game of
loaded questions
as the Season 1 finale of Rick and Rick Rule the World continues. All right, in episode 26, Rick M. impersonates model Ashley Graham in order to demonstrate A, ASMR, B, AMSR, C, silent whiffs, or D, Yanny versus Laurel.
See, I would have gone with ASM, but then you bring in the whole Yanny versus Laurel, because I remember we had quite the conversation about that. So I'm going to go with that.
Dang it, no! Where this series redeems itself is an entry with the model Ashley Graham. She whispers about whipped cream and Starburst. And it's actually pretty funny. She kicks things off by saying, "Today is one of the strangest days of my life. I got told that I'm going to whisper an interview." Then she goes on to say, "At the end of the day, I just like to take my bra off right away when I walk into the house. And I like to get my back scratched right where the bra connects." But the best part is when she says, "There's a bunch of Starbursts right now in front of me, and I freaking love Starbursts. I like to put different combinations in my mouth. My sister hates it when I chew with my mouth open." And then she starts, she actually wants to kill me. It is freaking hilarious. It was ASMR, yes.
So in the episode, and in a related note, on the episode where we talked about the silent gifts, do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
What was the silent gif that actually caused us to go down that path? What was the instigation of that? Do you remember which gif that was?
I can hear it now. I can see it now. I want to say it was like a utility tower bouncing up and down. Was that
exactly? It was two utility towers basically playing jump rope.
According to the New York Times, over this last week, The Sound of Silence went viral. It's an animated GIF showing this electrical tower jumping rope over power lines. If you look at this GIF, you hear it. And in fact, a survey showed nearly 70% of people said they could, and I watched it, and I could. Truly amazing. One researcher in the article says that hearing, as he defines it, does not require external noise. Rather, it's having the experience of a sound in your head. As I recall, I totally did experience that, but you didn't, did you?
Not at all. I looked at them, I didn't hear a thing, which is kind of interesting because, when I take those online tests where they say like, oh, if you can read these words that are all scrambled up, you're super intelligent, which is not true, but it makes me feel good. I can read every one of those. And like,
right?
It totally makes me feel good. It's like confidence. It's like instead of listening to like the positive reinforcement of "you are smart, you are going to succeed this day," all I do is pull up Facebook and I look at these things like, yeah, I totally can see that. I can read that. Yeah, no problem. I feel good about myself. For whatever reason, this one can't see it, can't hear it, can't like it just doesn't grok with me.
Okay, so here's one for you. What TV show or shows did the Ricks start reviewing but inexplicably never finished? A, Stranger Things. B, This Is Us. C, Altered Carbon. D, Westworld. Or E, Courtney and Cleo Take Miami.
You know what? It's Altered Carbon.
That is right, but I think Stranger Things is also right as well. I don't think we ever finished the episodes to that.
We did. So here's what happened with Stranger Things. We started out doing like 1 or 2 episodes, and then we did another 1 or 2 episodes, and then we did the rest of the season.
Okay.
because it was kind of like, what's actually I think it's Pringles. You can't eat just one, right? And so we like consumed an episode, and then an episode, and then another episode, and then it's like we finished the whole season. Okay. We both just kind of powered through it. Okay. So that one I think we did finish, but we ended up truncating it in reviewing all of like 3 through 5 or 6 all at once. I think
you're right. What's pissing me off right now is, I'm sure this happens to you as well, when people send you an email or text and say, "Hey, have you ever seen Stranger Things?" when you have told that person probably 20 times to watch Stranger Things.
Yes.
That drives me freaking crazy. Tom did that. So he texted me the other day, "Hey, have you ever seen, Stranger Things?" I'm like, "Dude, I've told you for a year now to watch Stranger Things." So anyway.
Yeah. So I have this buddy who went recently and bought a very cool Audi car. It's a RS5. And so I've been telling him for at least a couple years, dude, I'm in love with this Audi RS4. I'd love to get an Audi RS4. They haven't been making them for a few years. If they ever make them again, and I can afford it at the same time, I'm so buying this car. And so he's in the market for a car. And I say, hey, you got to go check out the Audi RS5 because you're looking at 2-doors. Go check it out. And so he comes back and he buys the car. Right? And he says to me, dude, this is the coolest car I've ever seen.
Geez.
My nephew told me about it. You've got to check it out. I'm like, dude, I've been telling you about it for 2 years. What do you mean your nephew told you about it? So he's like, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm sorry.
We're going to hold it right there. We've got to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue with our loaded questions about Rick and Rick Season 1. So don't go anywhere. Hey, Rick and Rick Nation, don't forget to check out our all-new website at rickandrick.com, where you can listen to new and archived episodes, join in on the conversation, or, just make fun of our photos. It's double the Rick in just one click at rickandrick.com. You see how I did that? It was clever, wasn't it?
I like that.
All right, we are back with the Season 1 finale, episode 45 of Rick and Rick Rule the World. Wow, time flies. And seriously, going back over these episodes, I've had fun listening to pieces of it. I think that we've had some great conversations. I hope listeners will go back and listen to some of the Season 1 episodes again as well. We touched on this, but we never really went down the avenue of the actual event. In a recent episode, special guests Kurt Ho and Eric Vanderhyde came along for the fun in an episode titled A, Rick and Rick Take Manhattan, B, Rick and Rick Conquer WonderCon, C, Rick and Rick Go to Lunch at IHOB, D, Rick and Rick Conquer Irritable Bowel Syndrome, or E, Rick and Rick Conquer Comic-Con. What was the title of that episode?
Clearly, that was Comic-Con. I'm excited about Aquaman, him flying through like a fart cloud through the water.
Yeah, I gotta ask, dude, what is happening there? Is he opening up a can of liquid ass? How do these people jet around the 7 seas like that?
That was so crazy. I wasn't a big fan of that.
Several sequences there where it didn't look like they were underwater at all, and creatures were growling.
Yeah, their hair's not wet.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, what the hell with Amber Heard, who plays Mira? She looks like we've seen her in Justice League underwater, but then there are several clips in the trailer where they're on dry land, and I didn't know it was her. She looked totally different, and she looked like Ronald McDonald's little sister Maggie or something. Her hair is so different, weird color. And
she looks like the Little Mermaid.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot was made of this. First trailer for DC's new platform is going to be a show based on the Teen Titans or the Titans, and not at all what I expected there.
I like the edge. I think I was surprised. I'm excited from the trailer. I like they're going, at least it seems like they're going darker. Let's see if they can pull it off. But yeah, definitely seeing Robin just start killing people. Yeah. That was like, wow.
The one thing though, when I look at the publicity stills, they had a picture of the rest of the cast, like Beast Boy and Starfire and Raven, and it looked like the freaking cast of The Wiz getting ready to sing Ease On Down the Road.
In one of the episodes this year, we talked about a brand who did a play on reorganizing the letters in their name as a way to apologize for a mistake that they made.
Yes.
Who was that, and what was it?
I remember that. It was KFC. They ran out of chicken, I want to say it was England. Yep. And to apologize, KFC ran this great, it's going to win awards. It was a great full-page ad where the KFC, on its famous bucket, reordered the letters to FCK. And the body copy read, "We're sorry, a chicken restaurant without any chicken. It's not ideal. Huge apologies to our customers, especially those who traveled out of their way to find we were closed. It's been a hell of a week, but we're making progress." Well, apparently, the reason this happened is they got a new distributor. They switched to DHL as its new delivery partner, which makes me wonder what the DHL apology ad is going to say. maybe, oh, bloody DHELL. I thought that was just brilliant. It did win just a slew of awards this year. So
yeah, that was fantastic.
Okay. Which breakfast cereal song lyrics did the Ricks sing in episode 34, I believe? Battle of the Breakfast Bands. A. Honeycomb's big. Yeah, yeah, yeah. B. Oh, those golden grams. C. Apple Jacks. Apple Jacks. Cinnamon flavor. That's what it packs. Or D. It's a honey of an O. Honey Nut Cheerios. Which of these did we sing in that episode?
I don't know that it's funnier that we sang any one of those or how you just deadpanned all four of them.
It was a dramatic reading.
Awesome.
Yeah, dramatic reading
awesome.
of.
It's like we're in some coffee bar and
Right.
you're reading spoken word. I think it was honeycomb.
Yes.
I remember us talking about honeycomb. That
You are
was
correct. Honeycomb.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's not small.
No. Honeycomb's got a big bite.
Okay. So I got another one for you.
Okay.
In one, actually, in 2 episodes, if I remember this correctly, in 2 episodes, we talked about a brand that had introduced the idea of a short film in the way of a commercial to try and get you to look for a conspiracy in the world around you. So much so that we went and we sampled their food. Do you remember which company that was?
Yeah. The hell. It was Taco Bell, and it was nacho cheese fries, and the trailer was Conspiracy of Fries or something.
Exactly.
Wow.
Look at you, man. That's
Wow.
awesome. Just dropped a new Taco Bell commercial, and it's basically a movie trailer for a made-up movie where fries were never sold by Taco Bell, and yet they were held back by Big Potato. Have you seen this commercial?
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Taco Bell, it's kind of, introduces you to this guy. He's sitting with his daughter having Taco Bell for dinner. And she's like, Daddy, where are the fries? And he's like, I don't know. And he goes and does a search and, he finds this like hidden thing about Taco Bell nacho fries with a cheese dip. And then all of a sudden his world goes sideways and all these black cars are driving by and he's being spied on. He's getting these threatening calls and it builds up to a peak where he's driving down the road. He's being pursued by this other car with 2 clowns that look like they're from the movie It, and runs him off the road. He falls into the lake and starts to sink. And then, across the screen, they have their big, bold catchphrase, web of fries.
My favorite line is when the sort of informant character warns Josh Duhamel, he's kind of the hero in this, he warns him, that he's really made somebody very salty. Yeah, that was a great trailer. And there was a sequel to it, too. I think we touched on in one of the episodes. Here's one I'm curious because you might not even remember, even though it was you. It's going back. In one episode this season, Rick Wooten told us about drones that A, never stop talking, B, can rescue swimmers, C, can rescue climbers, or D, dance like nobody's watching.
That's awesome. It was rescue swimmers. And so when they see that somebody's gotten swept out to sea, they send this drone out. It only takes a few minutes. I think they said 6 minutes to go from the beach all the way out to where, these people tend to get trapped. It drops an inflatable noodle on them. Now, this is kind of a bizarre thing, right? Because it looks like somewhere between, the pool noodles that you see with the kids playing with the pool and like that inflatable air guy that you see out in front of mattress places, right? With his the flapping arms and it drops this
They're
thing
swimming
and
away
it
in
inflates.
fear, like, no, we're lost in the rip current. Now they're flinging the used car dealership guy at us.
So apparently the first day on the job, they spent $340K. The first day on the job, it saves 2 people. It basically flies out there, it finds the 2 people. They were close enough together, drops the noodle. The noodle's somehow long enough to reach between the people. They're probably 10 feet apart. And then I don't know if they swim back. They cut away as the drone kind of flies back into.
They were still lost.
It went down in style with the noodle.
Well, all I can say is there's going to be no living with these drones now. I mean, it's going to go straight to their heads. The next thing they'll be doing is they'll be flexing their muscles and prancing around the beach in short shorts. It's just, we've opened up a whole can of worms here. So.
Well, to your point, of course, the reason we know all this is because the drone took a selfie video while it did it.
They're not going to let their heroism go undocumented. I mean, come on.
And then posted it to social media.
That's freaking amazing. Okay, so which of these did not make the list of things our grandkids won't believe we said in 2018, which was the topic of a segment that we did. So, things our grandkids won't believe we said. Which one of these was not on that list? A, I'll drive my car. B, what do we need from the grocery store? C, where's Florida? Or D, where's the TV remote? Which of these did not make that list?
You know, any of those could literally be in it.
Yep.
I'm going to say, where's Florida?
So, actually, you're right. Yes, that was.
No, you're wrong.
No, you're
Actually,
wrong.
You're
Yes,
right.
Okay, so another follow-up to the show before last, and involving Paul, longtime listener, first-time emailer. So he was responding to the story that we did on things that people won't believe we said in 2018. Our grandkids will be like, "What was that, Grandpa?" So it's things like, let's go to the grocery store. We won't do that because our refrigerators and cabinets will order food for us. But he added a few of his own. He had, Grandpa, what is work? Because the machines will have taken over and everyone will be on basic income, which is dystopian view. Grandpa, what is democracy? Which is terrifying. And this one, the last one was, Grandpa, where was Florida?
Where was Florida?
So Paul, point taken. I bet you're right. I just hope you're wrong. So I hope you'll forgive me for it. Yes. So that was a contribution from longtime listener, first-time emailer, Paul, who followed up on our conversation and added in questions like, Grandpa, what was democracy? And also, where's Florida? So you are right.
So in one of the episodes about a year ago, you and I discussed our disdain for a holiday tradition that many companies partake. Actually, it starts about this time of the year. And we then mocked how other companies could come up with joke ways of capitalizing on that same pattern. Do you remember what that was?
I'm not sure I remember. The only thing that's coming to mind, but it doesn't seem quite on, is the pumpkin spice.
Yes, that's it.
Okay.
I think we've reached peak pumpkin spice. I don't think we can go any further. I mean, we've seen some crazy pumpkin and spice things come out this year. So we've got pumpkin and spice Pringles. We've got pumpkin and spice yogurt. We have pumpkin and spice protein powder, because you can't actually eat it. So you're going to put in the protein powder. We got toothpaste. And then the one that jumped the shark for me was the pumpkin and spice brake pads. Now, I'm pretty sure it's a joke, but when a mechanic starts to joke about it, you've reached peak pumpkin and spice.
Yeah, you sent that, and I always forget. I never really see it coming, and then all of a sudden, everybody's talking about pumpkin spice. And by your prompting, I went and looked, and I saw some of the ones that you're talking about. I couldn't believe it. I mean, there was one, Oscar Mayer pumpkin spice bologna.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Because my bologna has a first name, and it's Gross. And then one that it's literally, I felt it coming up there for a second. It was pumpkin spice Skittles. Taste the vomit. So in episode 41, we learned that instead of being fans of Marvel Comics when they were kids, cast of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Michael Douglas, Paul Rudd, and Evangeline Lilly, they were into other stuff. Which of the following entertainment properties were the cast of Ant-Man and the Wasps just not that into? A, Beano, whatever the hell that is. B, Archie and Veronica. C, Mr. Magoo. D, Roadrunner. Or E, Horton Hears a Hoe.
I'm going to say it's Horton Hears a Hoe.
That is correct. Now, there was this little snippet, Marvel stars that weren't Marvel fans as kids.
Yes.
These are the lamest comic book fans ever. So it was an interview, and I don't think they were sitting together. I think it was cut separately, all independently. Yeah. It's the cast of Ant-Man and the Wasp, which looks like a lot of fun, but has Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, and Michael Douglas. And each of them. So Paul Rudd says, oh, my parents were British, and so I read a lot of something called Beano and Archie. And then Evangeline says, oh, I was really into like Archie and Veronica. Right. And then Michael Douglas goes, oh, I can't remember. I think I was really into Mr. Magoo. And
I know. I was traumatized by that. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. Like it was Mr. Magoo and the Roadrunner.
Yeah.
Really?
painful.
Really, Michael Douglas? Dude, I mean, a little part of me died. I was
Yes.
just like, I can't believe this.
So kids, all you kids out there, aspiring actors and actresses who dream of one day playing these great superheroes, whatever you do, don't at all be familiar with the source material at all. Just get it out of your mind completely. Ignore it. Go read some ridiculous, dating comic book instead, because that's the ticket to getting these superhero movies, apparently.
I remember that episode. It was so stunning. I couldn't believe the three of them weren't into comics, and here they are trying to do comic book movies. I don't know. There's just something wrong with that.
Which of these is not a 2030 job that hasn't been invented yet? So we had a segment where these companies, these futurists, were looking at jobs that will exist in the future but do not exist today. And in their list of jobs for 2030 that hasn't been invented yet, which of these was not on that list? A, augmented reality journey builder. B, garbage designer. C, teachers of English as a second language for robots. D, human carbon farmers. Or E, Instagram addiction counselors. Which of these was not a job for 2030?
The problem is any of those could work. I don't remember the Instagram one, so I'm going to guess that.
You are right. And in that report, it said, oh yeah, that was the stuff that we see for 2030. We didn't even really touch on the ones that we see a little further out. And these cracked me up. So these were jobs like carbon farmers.
Probably literally capturing carbon from the atmosphere and recycling it.
Recycling it. Human organ developers. Teachers of English as a foreign language for robots. Let me read that again. Teachers of English as a foreign language for robots. So robots that didn't grow up with English, that maybe knew Spanish or Chinese or whatnot. These teachers will teach them how to speak English. Algae farmers, autonomous fleet valets, Snapchat addiction therapists. We are going to take one last break, so stay tuned. Okay, we're back with Rick and Rick Rule the World and the season 1 finale with our series of loaded questions. Okay, final question. Finish this sentence or this line. Get double the Rick. Is it A, get double the Rick pretty darn quick? B, get double the Rick in just one click? C, get double the Rick on Rick and Rick Rule the World? D, Rick and Rick, but don't touch your... That rhymes with Rick. Or E, get double the Rick because it's always a kick. Which of these is the right line?
I'm going to guess it does the trick.
That wasn't even an option.
Wasn't that the last one? What was the last one?
Because it's always a kick.
Oh, it's always a kick. So I'm going to go with that one.
Okay, good guess. Not really. It's a terrible guess. It's get double the Rick in just one click.
Yes.
All right.
I suppose I should listen more carefully next time.
That's all right. I'm going to make you do the promos. Before we continue, more memorable moments that made Rick and Rick Rule the World such an international success. When I see the pictures of it, I keep thinking like Anne Bancroft wearing these things, in The Graduate. Are you augmenting my reality, Mrs. Robinson?
That's awesome.
One of them where they were saying, talking about, taking a bite of a warm, steaming pot pie. Did you have to say warm, steaming? Come on. And then the whole thing, with Colonel Sanders with the bucket head. There's some serious pot in these pot pies.
But maybe there's an upside. Maybe we can go work with them and help them fix that problem, and they'll make some Pez dispensers of Rick and Rick.
That will take the world by storm. Have you heard of liquid ass?
Yes, I have. My son, I will leave him nameless, likes to prank his friends, and so they were on this summer retreat. And apparently, there was plenty of liquid ass to be had. So I'm pretty familiar with the concept of liquid ass. I think it's pretty hilarious. And frankly, look, you would have done it. I would have done it as a kid.
Totally.
So.
When I was 12, liquid ass would have been all the shit. So the rumor about top-selling toys were Tickle Me Taylor Swift. Apparently there was also a Tickle Me Trump where you pull the string and he praises Russia, but I don't know about that. Han Solo slushie maker and sewing kit. And then there was this whole slew of Cabbage Patch Kardashians. So big sellers. One of the weird ones I saw was Jif pumpkin pie spice whipped peanut butter. Like Jif really hates you. And then the other thing is like, we got to be careful because millennials have like these built-in BS detectors. And I'm like, oh my God, they've got
built-in BS detectors. Gosh, I've been marketing to boomers and the GI generation. They've got to depend on those portable BS detectors that carry around with them everywhere.
One of the ones that I saw that I liked was pumpkin and spice Roundup. So if you're going to kill your weeds, make sure it smells like pumpkin and spice. or the old pumpkin and spice, or the old man who wants to attract the young ladies, I guess.
Could you imagine everyone watching their own show with these virtual reality headsets and they've got their own reality going on and they're making movements like they're, Helen Keller trying to catch butterflies. Awesome. Hell yeah. Smart refrigerators and cabinets. And then I was thinking, what if one brand's better? Like you're saying, I love my Amana's apple pie. Maytag always burns the crust. I'm all over this. So the next episode of Rick and Rick will be episode 201, season 2, episode 1. So I want to thank you, Rick Wooten, and thank you, listeners, for tuning into this show for 45 episodes. And please join us for season 2 of the one show where everybody's name is Rick and everybody rules the world.
Thanks, everyone.